We had to do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Some things that were probably not quite legal, but...
Which is absolutely phenomenal and is groundbreaking, history-making, I would suggest.
Scott, we can see you're a postie.
Yep.
You live in Featherstone?
Featherstone,
yes. Yeah, and you're obviously a union man.
I am, yeah. I'm the president of the Leeds #1 amalgamated branch of the Communication Workers Union. I'm also a local rep, so I deal with the industrial relations stuff in my depot in Normanton. I'm also a member of the Standing Orders Committee for the National Union.
Okay, well, we're talking to Ken here, but I wanted just to ask you about the posties, because I've heard that they're very unhappy and they want to strike. What is the issue that's affecting the posties at the moment?
There's a multitude of issues that is affecting not just the postmen who walk the streets, but everyone across the Mel Centre, into network, or the drivers across the whole country, really. It sort of stems back really from privatisation.
Yeah.
And eventually privatised companies will always come for capital, don't they? They'll always look to make money, and they'll squeeze every little bit of the business to the point where they will come for terms and conditions at some point.
Yeah.
The issue is that they've had a new chief executive, Brian, namely Rico Back.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of sets the picture when someone who's had effectively an internal transfer from a part of GLS, which is the international arms of the Romeo Group, where he's then moved into the whole company to be the chief executive to the tune of £6 million.
Oh.
Not only, does that sound obscene, because it is, but the shareholders actually decided that they didn't want them to do that, but they've done it anyway. So that's the tone that we're starting off from.
Yeah.
And then from there, he's had conversations with our national leaders, Terry Pullinger and his assistant secretaries, and the conversations really is that he doesn't believe that he needs to speak to the National Union on any change, and then actually just thinks that the union should just rubber stamp his decisions and actually help deliver that change, which is a nonsense, to be fair.
Ken, this bloke reminds me of Mr. McGregor.
Yeah.
Who came to do something similar to the mining industry, I'm sure you remember as well as anybody does. But you've had a ballot, how did that go, and then what happened with the judges?
Well, interesting enough, we've had 2 ballots in the last 2 years, and both of them are really the first sort of national strike ballots that has had since the anti-trade union legislation brought in by the Tories only a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that's where they set a threshold of 50%.
Yeah.
Just on the turnout. Now, we smashed both of those turnouts in those 2 ballots, but the more recent one, we've actually turned out a 75.9% turnout on a 110,000 member ballot, which is absolutely phenomenal and is groundbreaking, history-making, I would suggest. And out of those people that turned out to vote, 97.1% voted in favour of the union's vision for the company, and not Romel's vision for the company.
Incredible. I mean, almost every single person that voted to take action. The company then took the union to court.
Yes.
You and me can probably guess what the judge did without even knowing, because we've seen it all before, haven't we, Ken?
We have.
So how did the judge rule then?
Well, the judges effectively outlawed the strike action ballot on the basis that there was so-called interventions within the ballot process. Now, we have got a court hearing for the appeal on Thursday, I'm led to believe. That's Thursday of this week.
Yeah.
But we're not holding much hope for the judicial system to turn it over in favour of the trade union and actually the working class. And in which case then we'll have to take that where we need to take it.
What's your view about the judges and the working class movement? How do you see it, Ken?
We've had it all before. It's nothing new. You can go back through the history of working class struggles, right back. And all the time, the thing that you've been really up against has been the guy with the wig on.
Yeah.
He steps in and makes it extremely difficult for you. During our strike in 1984, 85, the judiciary was constantly trying to stop us from carrying on with that strike. We had to do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Some things that were probably not quite legal, but you have to do. And we did, and we managed to keep the strike going for a full 12 months.
I know, unbelievable.
It was probably the biggest trade union battle of all time.
I would think so.
But if you go right back in the history of this country, you can go right back to Wat Tyler in 13 something, and the way that the judiciary and the establishment would trample on people. It was the same with the Chartists. It was the same.
The Tolpuddle Martyrs.
The Tolpuddle Martyrs.
They were setting the union up, and they were all sent off.
All sent
by the judiciary
to Australia, away from their families.
Never come back.
Dragged off, and with their families screaming, their wives, their children, knowing that they were never going to see that man again.
Awful.
And yet we know now, when we look back, that they were heroes.
Of course they were.
That fought for... So a lot of the things we enjoy today came from the struggles of working class people that were looked upon as defeats at the time.
Yeah, I know.
But turned out to be big victories because of the heroic struggles of working class people. And, we're here in a constituency, Hemsworth, and we look here, at the time of the strike, we had South Kirby Colliery going. We had Frickley Colliery going.
Yeah.
The people here worked extremely hard in the mining industry. Yeah. You had to go down the pit to find out how hard these people worked every day. Yeah. And they were fighting for their very lives. They were fighting for their communities, fighting for their families, and of course the judiciary was always there to make it more and more difficult all the time. But they were heroes, and I know that their struggle it already is being justified, and the more time that passes and looking back at it, the more that we will see that the struggles of the miners over the years, not just 1984-85, but over the years, the struggles of the miners were heroic, and in the end were proved to be right, and also enhanced everyone's freedoms and everyone's standards of work.
I agree, but the truth is, the fight goes on, and we've got Scott here today, and he's in a great union. They've helped me in the past, and I stand with you, Scott, and all your brothers and sisters in the union. I know that the struggle's going to win in the end, and thanks very much for coming to talk to me. It's appreciated.
It's a pleasure meeting a legend.
Absolutely.